You know that feeling, right? 1 minute, your favorite app is working just fine. Then there's an update, and suddenly something's just off.
Oh, yeah. A button's gone or it's super glitchy. It happens all the time.
Exactly. But then there are those other times, kind of magic moments where an app updates, and it just works
Yeah.
seamlessly. You don't even notice
Mm-hmm.
that invisible transformation. That's actually what we're digging into today.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into two really powerful, quite advanced deployment strategies. They're fundamentally changing how software gets released, especially, in this complex world of microservices.
Right.
We're talking about blue, green, and canary deployments.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here isn't just the technical stuff, the mechanics. It's the shift in mindset these strategies represent.
Okay.
They're really meticulously designed to push out software updates with like minimal risk and basically zero downtime.
Zero downtime. Wow. Yeah, ensuring high availability and letting teams do controlled testing right there in production. It's not just jargon. It's really about stability, speed, and ultimately a much better experience for you, the user.
And this deep dive, well, it's meant to give you a shortcut, a way to really understand these crucial concepts. We'll compare them, look at where you'd use each one,
Hmm.
and really highlight why they're so critical today, especially with these complex digital services we all rely on.
Absolutely.
By the end, you should have a really clear picture of how so many of these services, stay up and running, even when they're changing constantly.
Right. Constant updates, but stable service.
So let's start by defining our terms.
Right.
First one, blue-green deployment.
Okay.
At its core, it's like maintaining two identical production environments, almost like parallel universes for your application.
Exactly. Two identical copies.
Right. One is blue. That's the current live version, the one
Correct.
everyone's using. And the other is green. That's where the new version sits,
Right.
all ready to go.
Fully tested, hopefully.
Hopefully. It sounds simple, but the execution, that's where the power lies, right? Here's where it gets really interesting. The switch.
Indeed. I mean, the innovation is that dual environment approach. Think about it. For years, updates often meant scheduled downtime, right? Annoying messages like, we'll be down for maintenance.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Blue-green pretty much made that obsolete for a lot of critical systems. Its key features are, well, number one, zero downtime deployments, uninterrupted service.
For sure.
And number two, if something does go wrong with green after the switch, maybe a bug slipped through, you get instant rollbacks.
How instant.
Like flip a switch, instant. Traffic just diverts right back to the stable blue environment.
Right.
So the impact is absolutely minimal.
Wow.
And, this also forces teams to get really good at automation. That instant switch, it demands confidence. You need solid processes.
This is like having an instant undo button for your entire application. That sounds incredibly useful.
It really is a huge safety net.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Mhm.
where does blue-green really shine? What's its ideal use case?
Well, it's perfect for applications that absolutely demand high availability. Think critical web apps, core microservices.
Like payment systems?
Exactly. Or authentication. Anything where even a few seconds of downtime means lost revenue or, seriously unhappy users. This ensures uninterrupted service.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk canary deployment.
Right.
The name itself, it comes from that old canary in the coal mine analogy, right?
Mm.
Which feels pretty apt.
It really does.
Because instead of that big instant switch like blue-green, Canary is about releasing a new version to just a small, controlled group first.
Yeah, a tiny subset of users or servers, and crucially, it runs alongside the stable version. They both exist in production at the same time for a while.
So side by side.
Exactly. And this gradual rollout, that's the main difference. You slowly shift more traffic to the Canary version as you gain confidence.
How do you gain confidence?
Through monitoring. You watch it closely, you're tracking error rates, latency, maybe even specific business metrics for that small group. It lets you see the real-world impact in real time.
Oh, okay.
This incremental exposure, it naturally reduces risk. You're not betting the farm all at once.
Right.
And what's often overlooked, I think, is how Canary helps you understand user behavior. You can do subtle A/B tests, try out UI tweaks on just that small group,
Oh, interesting.
and get genuine feedback you just can't get in a staging environment.
So it's not just bug hunting, it's also about like user preference or how they react to a change.
Precisely.
This raises an important question though.
Mm-hmm.
How do you actually interpret that feedback effectively? It sounds like you could get noisy data.
That's a great point, and it's a real challenge. Data-driven decisions are the goal, yeah, but the tricky part is setting the right metrics beforehand
Right.
and understanding subtle shifts. You absolutely need robust monitoring, good observability tools. You need to know what normal looks like before the canary goes out.
A baseline.
Exactly, a solid baseline.
Hmm.
Otherwise, yeah, it's easy to misinterpret an anomaly or some user behavior quirk.
Okay, got it. So we've kind of grasped the what. Let's dive into the why. Why are these strategies so important? What are the benefits, especially for, us as users?
Right.
For blue-green, the biggest one seems obvious.
Mm-hmm.
The zero downtime. We expect online shopping, banking, whatever, to just work, always.
Absolutely. Users have very little tolerance for downtime these days, and that zero downtime benefit leads right into the second big one, fast rollbacks.
The undo button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That ability to instantly revert to the stable blue environment if anything looks off with green. It's like having an instant escape route. An unexpected issue pops up, bam, you're back on the safe version. It's like having an instant undo button for your entire application.
Minimizes the pain immediately.
Instantly.
And then there's the environment isolation you mentioned. Testing the new green version in an identical setup to blue. That must reduce surprises, right?
Hugely. You're testing in basically a mirror of production. It builds way more confidence before you make that final switch. Fewer "it worked in staging" moment.
Okay, moving to Canary, the main benefit there seems to be risk mitigation.
Definitely unparalleled risk mitigation, I'd say. By limiting any potential problems to just that small initial group.
The canaries.
The canaries, yeah.
Yeah.
You drastically shrink the potential blast radius if something is actually wrong with the new code.
Makes sense.
And that incremental exposure, it directly feeds into getting incredibly valuable real-time feedback.
Right, the monitoring aspect.
Yeah, watching those metrics, seeing how actual users interact with the new version, that gives you data, hard data.
Okay.
This allows for truly data-driven decisions. Do we proceed? Do we increase the canary percentage? Do we pause? Or do we roll back entirely?
So it's not just gut feeling.
No, ideally not. It should be based on what you're observing. And, this also helps teams innovate faster, try something out small, learn quickly, then decide whether to commit fully.
And that gradual rollout, it lets teams scale up confidently, fixing small issues early before they hit everyone. And you mentioned A/B testing, too.
Yes, huge flexibility there. Testing new features, UI changes, even back-end logic changes on a subset of real users. Getting that direct interaction data is gold.
Okay, now let's pivot specifically to microservices. This architecture, lots of small independent services. Why are blue, green, and canary almost like essential there?
Well, you hit it. Microservices mean you have many independent services, often updated frequently by different teams, right?
Right.
The massive challenge is updating one service without accidentally breaking others, or worse, bringing down the whole system.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
It can be. Microservices thrive on independence, but they still have to work together flawlessly. These deployment strategies, they're basically tailor-made for managing that complexity.
So blue-green in a microservices world, what does that look like?
You get those seamless updates for the really critical services. Think payments again, or user authentication. You flip the switch for just that one service, ensuring it's always available and performing well.
Okay, so you might blue-green deploy just the payment service, while other services remain untouched.
Exactly. And that instant rollback is maybe even more crucial here. If a new version of, say, the inventory microservice fails, you can instantly switch just that service back to its stable blue version. This prevents cascading failures where one bad service takes down others that depend on it. It really isolates the problem.
That makes a lot of sense, protecting the overall system.
Precisely. It also helps keep environments consistent across all those services, and yeah, it integrates really nicely with CI/CD tools like Jenkins or GitLab CI for automating the whole process. Streamlines things a lot.
Okay, and what about Canary for microservices?
Well, for those services that change very frequently, Canary is fantastic. You can do controlled rollouts for just one microservice, testing it on maybe 1% or 5% of the traffic first.
Just dipping a toe in the water?
Exactly. See how it behaves in the real complex environment before you scale it up. And this ties directly into monitoring and observability.
Right, you need the tools to see what's happening.
Absolutely. Tools like Prometheus, Grafana, you need to track error rates, latency, resource usage for that specific Canary instance in real time. Is it performing well? Is it causing issues downstream? That insight is vital.
And you mentioned user-centric testing again.
Yeah, you can A/B test different API versions for a microservice, or maybe UI elements driven by that service, again, getting that crucial feedback before a full rollout. Plus, fault isolation is key. If the Canary version of a service does fail,
Hmm.
it only impacts that small percentage of traffic routed to it. The vast majority of users are unaffected, still hitting the stable version. Protects the broader system integrity.
Right, this all sounds great, but nothing's perfect, right? There have
Yeah.
to be downsides or trade-offs.
Oh, definitely. No silver bullets here. Each strategy has its considerations.
Let's start with blue-green. What are the catches?
The big one is resources. It's inherently resource intensive. You're maintaining two full identical production environments.
Double the infrastructure.
Pretty much double the infrastructure costs. Servers, databases, load balancers, everything. That can be a really significant hurdle, especially for smaller teams or companies on tight budgets.
Yeah, I can see that being a blocker.
Yeah.
What else?
Database migrations can be tricky if your new green version needs database schema changes.
Ah, right.
Coordinating that change so it works with both the old blue version for rollback and the new green version simultaneously requires very careful planning. It's often much harder than just deploying code.
More complex than it sounds.
Definitely. And you really need good tooling support. Orchestration platforms like Kubernetes, deployment tools like Spinnaker, they help manage the complexity of creating environments, deploying, and switching traffic automatically.
Right.
Doing it manually at scale, very difficult.
Okay, what about Canary? What are the considerations there?
Monitoring overhead is a big one. We talked about needing robust observability. Well, setting that up and actively analyzing the data adds complexity.
You need the tools and the expertise.
Exactly. You need to know what metrics matter, what deviations are significant. It requires effort and skill. You need to know what you're looking for and where.
And partial failures. You mentioned limiting the blast radius, but some users do get affected if the Canary has issues, right?
That's true, yes. You have to acknowledge that partial failures will happen sometimes. Issues in the Canary phase might affect that small user group. So you need strategies to manage that quick detection, maybe routing affected users somewhere else, communicating clearly. Minimizing that negative experience is key. It's a calculated risk.
But still a risk for some users.
Correct. And finally, you need pretty advanced traffic management tools.
Like what?
Things like service meshes, Istio, or Linkerd are common examples, or sophisticated API gateways. These tools are needed to precisely control routing, sending exactly 5% of traffic here, 95% there, maybe based on user location or specific headers. That fine-grained control is essential for Canary.
Got it. So more tooling complexity there too.
Yes, in a different way than blue-green, but definitely requires sophisticated infrastructure.
Okay, so we've explored both the good and the challenging.
Yeah.
After this deep dive, what does this all mean for you, the listener? It seems both are really essential, but they solve different problems.
That's a great summary. They're both vital tools in the modern DevOps toolkit, but their strengths really do differ.
Blue-green seems geared towards zero downtime and that super fast recovery for really critical stuff.
Exactly. High availability, rapid rollback. That's its sweet spot.
Whereas Canary is more about those controlled, gradual rollouts and getting that real-time feedback, especially for things that change often or where user reaction is key.
Precisely. Risk mitigation through incremental exposure and data-driven decisions based on actual user interaction.
So the choice isn't always obvious.
No, not always. It really depends heavily on specifics. What are your infrastructure capabilities? What's your team's or your organization's tolerance for risk? How crucial is getting that early user feedback versus guaranteeing zero potential impact?
Lots to consider.
Absolutely. But they both play this vital, often complementary role in making modern software delivery safer, faster, and more reliable.
It really is quite amazing when you stop and think about how these strategies running, behind the curtains make our digital lives feel so smooth and dependable, especially with how complex everything's becoming.
It's true. And, think about how these deployment strategies, they aren't just about the technology itself. They represent a fundamental shift in mindset.
How so?
Well, moving away from fearing change, fearing those big, risky release days.
Right, the release weekend horror stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Moving towards embracing change as this continuous, controlled, manageable evolution. And this maybe raises an important question. What other areas of our lives, beyond software, could actually benefit from a similar iterative, risk-mitigated approach to making changes?
That's a fascinating thought. Taking that controlled, feedback-driven approach elsewhere. Definitely something to ponder. It highlights that balance, doesn't it? Between speed, stability, and innovation, that these approaches really enable.